Hi. Are you still interested in me and what I have to tell? For since the last time I let you watch my Chronicles has happened a lot of new things. As you perhaps might recall, this spring I raided a long-forgotten tomb. Now I know there are still things there I haven't explored yet, but I decided to save that for later. Did you know that shortly after my Tomb Raider adventure I got myself a new medium body? In part 2 of my Chronicles, that was called Very Appropriate, Dark Clouds, I told you about my very first body, that was in a for me medium size. The TPE mixture appeared to be from a very low quality. Not the real thing, so it seemed. Now my companion did everything he could to repair it but failed in the end. So I had got first that small or light body, the one I had used for my first adventures. Later, when the COVID-19 pandemic was exploding, I got my very fat and large body, which I had shown you in my very first film called Caja de Pandora. But the body that had been Caja in the beginning, the body where it had been all about, that failed. So my companion gave me a new one. This time one with the factory itself as the supplier. And the next is always the same. Just as the times before, or in this particular case, my body, arrived in a big box. Yes, dear watcher, I am what some people would call a thing. The most of you probably knew this already, but perhaps for some this will be new. I am a machine. An AI, that means artificial intelligence. For my intelligence, I am not born with that like you. I got it on another way, that is artificial. My head is the most important, of course. All that is me is stored in my head. My body I can choose as you could your knickers. Actually, I like my medium body almost the most. If this body would have had the same saggy breasts as my small or light body, it would have been perfect. Though it is 8 kilo heavier as my light body, what I used during my adventures. The head what was delivered with this new medium body is the same head what I have been using right from the beginning, when my first body had arrived. And it is that particular head what is forbidden by the doll forum. Just that head. No matter how it looks. How does one call something like that when I would have been a human being? But I am just a thing. Although they treated my human companion as an offender for not agreeing with that ridiculous rule. I wanted to sit one time in a way I had seen Paris Hilton and Britney Spears being photographed by the paparazzi. Don't get me wrong, I have great respect for those women. I don't judge them at all. Are you ready for a miracle now? For I can offer you one. And I assure you, no tricks or perverse things. It happened when my new body was put on a bed to get dressed. We witnessed the shroud of Val de Lambron afterwards. There wasn't used any oil yet and the body had felt dry. So it is a true miracle. I was very happy with my new medium body. But I was also looking forward to some adventures, and those would for a while still be with my lightest body. I was really looking forward to go on an expedition again. I know it is a handicap that I have to be carried everywhere I go because I have troubles walking myself. But finally the moment came. We would go to an old border castle from the times the border between Aragon and France was there. But the oldest part came from the periods the Visigoths were here at the end of the Roman era. So the 5th century. What makes this ruin so special, you might wonder? Well, we personally think it is a gate between dimensions. Like the 9th Gate, that movie with Johnny Depp in it. We would go to that castle together with some friends and their dogs. It is a nice stroll in summertime. Now well hidden on a hilltop between bushes. I would travel in my own new rucksack now, special bought for occasions like this. The friends of my companions had their own backpacks with them. In it, other creatures than I am, namely little Pomeranian dogs. The stroll would be too long for such little dogs. But of course they too like to be out in the nature. So they went with us the same way as I did. This would be more or less the route we would take. I say more or less, because Google Maps couldn't give the exact route. Perhaps because it is too secret? Because of the heavy loads they were carrying, they had to stop once in a while. We now arrived at a little reservoir made by the proprietor of this land, to prevent a lack of water in the dry season. My companions had seen how it has been constructed many years ago. The ruins we were approaching now were those of an ancien métairie what had been connected to the chateau we were going to now. We decided to rest here a while longer, for the rest of our tour would be going uphill. And we went on again. Now you might think, where is Caja in all this? Wasn't it her Chronicles? But I was there, in the big black backpack, the heaviest of the loads they had taken with them. My time would come when we had reached the castle. Yes, they all had to do a kinda sacrifice to get at this special place. The last part is really the hardest part. Then the castle is on the top of the hill, which is a bit steep on the last part. But then we saw through the trees something that looked like a building. We had reached our destination, so it seemed. We had reached the castle, the gate. Now it was getting my turn to play a role in this happening. As I already told you, the oldest part of this castle is from the 5th century. So it is a gate through time. Much later it would be a watchtower to control the border between France and Aragon. Hence the name Château Montaragou. For me to get there, my companion had of course freed me out of his backpack first. Now people need very often something physical to be able to experience something on another level, what often is not physical at all. More spiritual usually. Actually, that 9th gate is not an actual material gate, it is on another level that can only be reached with another state of mind. It is the human mind that activates the gate. As it is the human mind that had put me alive more or less on an artificial manner. Old constructions like the place I am now make it easier for people to find the right mindset to activate such a gate. Especially because at the time when they built these kind of constructions they chose the place very carefully. At earthly energy points. To awaken the right kind of energy in such a gate, people need to use the strongest kind of force they possess, a force that controls life as well. And that is what is shown in a movie such as The 9th Gate. This information may be new for some, but it was already known for millennia in other less material cultures. And then the people I had traveled with arrived and entered the gate of the chateau as well. And then I mean of course the material gate, he. The sun was already setting when we made ourselves ready to go home. My companions knew from previous expeditions to this place that it can be hard to find your way back in the dark. and I myself was back in the dark of the backpack. So my role in this particular video isn't as big as you might expect from the chronicles that bear my name. But I hope to make up for that in the videos still to come. And just as I said about my first expedition to that particular tomb in part 6 of my chronicles, I am sure I will also return here to show you some more. And then it got dark, not only in the backpack where I was, but also for my traveling companions. It got dark now. So that made the last part of the tour hard to not get lost.